Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Tonight on the broadcast, you have Keith Floyd, also known as Plank. Guy Moore, how's it going?
Good. Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm getting old up there, old fella. So,
man, if you're young at heart, you never grow old, brother.
All right, I'll take it.
Right. Hey, I'm not sure. I know we kind of did this at the last minute today, so I'm not sure if Jay and Tammy might be able to make it tonight. But
I forgot to say last week, Bernard. Sorry. Congratulations to Bernard Muhammad, because last week he was voted Omega Psi Phi Citizen of the Year for this year, and I forgot to mention that. So we want to make sure we give you your flowers while you were alive and while you can get them. Great job. I'm very proud of you, man.
because I'm not an Omega, I do this.
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, Plank, I want to bring up something else. 31 years ago today, what happened with us?
31 years ago?
Today. 31 years ago today, we played in the city championship the day after Thanksgiving.
That had to be 41 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But thank you all the same.
That's why
we're pretty old, bro.
Yeah, all the same. 40. Yeah. 41 years ago today, we played Robeson High School at Soldier Field for the city championship.
Yes, sir. We did not emerge victorious, but hey, it was a good. It wasn't a good game. But we went out there and we represented, so it is what it is.
Yeah, you know that me and Bernard, we grew up around Robeson, so you can imagine what we had to deal with all summer, getting beat right after all the people in the stands was talking about some Alpo, roof, Alpo, roof. When the cheerleaders came out.
Right. Yeah, well, my uncle played for Robeson. So I still had to hear about that now.
Who is he? Who was it?
Mitchell Gray, class of 80. He was a wide receiver. Ran track. So yeah.
Okay.
So I had to hear it every week. As a matter of fact, he was over here yesterday. He had Thanksgiving dinner with me, and I still had to hear about Robeson. So
remember, you still tell him you still a defensive back, man.
Hey, he don't want none. I can stick him today.
Yeah, they no longer play that game or the Prep Bowl in Soldier Field any longer. I believe they stopped a few years ago.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why, but anay,
that was really nice.
Some good games. Yeah, that's a good memory. We had some good games yesterday for Thanksgiving. We had the Buffalo Bills who played the Lions down to the stretch. So I guess what we had said, teams get hot when they beat the Bears. I mean, Lions had got on a little run and they battled. I mean, they battled the Bills yesterday. I mean, I know the Bills made some mistakes, but they were in that game into the wire, and they actually made some mistakes down the stretch that could have. I'm not saying if they would have won, but that would have made that game, a little bit more challenging for Buffalo, that they wouldn't have been able to just kick a field goal. There was one play with about 40 seconds. They threw to St. Brown. With about 40 seconds left and 3 timeouts. And they had 8 in the box. So the only body was left was the guy who ran up, I think the nickel, in a single high safety. And I'm not sure why St. Brown went to the outside of the block, which was being blocked inside. He had the guy turn to the outside, and he ran outside and ran out of bounds. Where he should have just ran and got as many yards as he could. His
brother was calling him.
That one guy missed, which would have been a touchdown, and they ended up another play after that. They I think it was on 3rd down. They threw, it was 3rd and 1 with about maybe less than 20 seconds, and they threw a real deep ball that they missed. Then on 4th, they had to bring the field goal unit. I didn't understand that either. Like, get the first, call timeout.
Well, part of the problem, though, is even though he made that mistake, he's still the best St. Brown brother. There's another one that's Sebastian St. Brown, who I just saw on 63rd and State Street, and he said he ain't really a member of their family, but they're gonna add him, so he's still better than Equanimous.
One of them brothers was calling him. He had his earphones in. They probably called him on the side, like, man, see, look what you made me do. Like, when was the last time you listened to me? So that's got to be funny though, man. Having your brother, you got a brother on another squad, and your brother's actually better than you, and you don't want to admit it, but you know it's true.
Your younger
what's up,
and
Mo
smaller
Man? I see
brother.
Mo Man is on YouTube.
Mo.
Hey, Mo Man, if you want to come on, I'm gonna
What's
text
up, Mo?
you the link.
Yo, Mo.
Yeah.
So also yesterday, you had the Vikings and the Patriots. The Vikings
game.
won 33. What was it? 33-26. I actually missed that game. And you had who was that? The Giants and
Dallas beat the brakes off
Cowboys.
of
them. Yeah.
That wasn't close as that score indicated.
It
wasn't. No, it was bad, man. I hate to say it. As much as I hate the Cowboy, it was bad. But the thing about going back to Detroit and Buffalo, man, the one thing I got out of that game, Detroit never looked like they were intimidated or anything. They balled out. They played better than the Giants. The Giants just seemed like towards the end of the game when they was sort of smacking them. And Dallas was making some, after a while, you notice the first half and stuff, and almost beginning of the third quarter, it was just real slow. You know what I mean? Walter Payton was better than Eddie.
I think we all can safely say that.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Hey, if I remember correctly, didn't Eddie end up on the Bears for a hot second?
I know he ended up with Detroit and scored a touchdown. Okay. I don't remember him being on the Bears.
Okay, I remember.
You might be right though. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Was that in the 80s, like the middle late 80s, or was it the early?
That's what I want to say. It was right near the end of his career because I think Eddie was older than Walter.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say if he played on that scab team, then he had Sean Payton to throw to him for 10 days.
Hey, it's kind of like you had the Casey Urlacher was on the team with Brian, and then we just had
Max
brothers on the team for a minute.
And on a basketball reference, that remind me of DeMar DeRozan. They were trying to get him to come to USC, and he wasn't really feeling it. But Master P's kid was in, and they were like, "Okay, well, we get DeRozan, but you got to bring him in." And it's like,
wow.
I'm not going to dog him out because the brother graduated from an esteemed university. He actually was on a basketball roster, but
no, he never played for the Bears though. So it looks like he made for Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas, and Minnesota.
He stayed in the Midwest at least.
Oh, okay. I knew he moving around the league. Oh, Mo Man said he can't make it. Mo, maybe we'll catch you Sunday if you get a minute to pop on with us. Hey, so looking at the NFL, there's been a lot of rumors and stuff circulating. I guess I want to get your opinion on this before we move into the Bears and some of the other stuff that we normally talk about. Guy, you had mentioned Saquon Barkley while we was off air. I mean, can you share your thoughts on that rumor?
Let's put it this way. You got to look at the circumstance. I think Montgomery's on the end of his rookie contract. He's going to be asking for a little more money. Is he a stud? Yeah, he's nice with it. But, I mean, let's keep it 1,000. First thing people would think about is, man, Saquon had he had a very devastating injury. How's he going to come back? Well, he's averaging 100 yards a game, and he's leading the league. He's doing this thing, and I've seen him run, and the dude looked like he hadn't lost a step. He wants $18.5 million. The question you ask yourself, do you give him $18.5 million to come play for us? I do it. I know it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of money, man. It is. But then here's a caveat.
Okay.
What are we gonna do? I think that anything that we do offensively is contingent upon what's gonna happen as far as us shopping, getting some more O-line, getting some studs, because only person that could run in that backfield, get 100 yards on that offensive line on a consistent basis, like running past it, as far as them being banged up, is Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Jesus don't need no blocking. It's like, hey man, like I say, it's like, take the wheel, I'm gonna take the rock. You know what I'm saying? But you got to look at it. It's kind of like like a catch-22 thing because it's like you're gonna have to act fast on Saquon if you want to do it because everybody else gonna be throwing all type of cash at him. When we get our offensive line intact and we got some studs, and even if we do get guys, we still don't know what we got. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna say no name, Peter, the guy with the toe injury that they made. He gonna probably be in a Kenny Shoe commercial now. You know what I'm saying? But why is that even news? Well, yeah, Moses. Yeah, we get Moses. Yeah, or we can even put Moses Malone out there because he'll sweat on everybody. but yeah, man, a lot of it, I like it. I mean, it's kind of like that money is kind of bothering me. And I know I'm kind of, 18.5. That's a lot of loot. You do get a stud, but like I say, what if you spend this money for this dude? He a stud. He come in. And Patrick comes back.
What do you think about that, Plank? I mean, I know it's just room speculation.
I don't think spending 18.5. I think Saquon Barkley's a great running back. I'd love to see him in a Bears uniform. I don't think 18.5 million a year makes a lot of sense to play a running back, especially one that has a history of injury at this point. So if you could get it down to maybe 15. Only because that still gives us the ability to leverage other options, and we've got way more needs than just running back, just one or two positions. We need an entire offensive line, just about an entire defensive line too.
Yeah,
another linebacker, another DB. So we got to be more economical in our choices. In my opinion, going forward.
I buy that though, man. I think
he's a great back when you compare him to the guys that's playing the game today. He does have a running ability, and I'm putting parentheses compared to the guys that run today.
Right.
I don't put him on the same level as a Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, or none of those guys. No, he's not on their level.
Who is? Okay.
Yeah, those are elite runners. But during those eras, you did have other elite runners at the same time. When you had Peyton, you had Earl Campbell, you had Franco Harris, you had Tony Dorsett, you had a whole lot of guys. They had different skill sets, but there were other backs that were, anybody could argue at that time that might have been the best guy that particular year or whatever. Even when you had LaDainian, you had LT.
Right.
Like Damien's LT. You had LaDainian, you had Barry Sanders. You had other backs, but when I look at Saquon, there's not a lot of. You got
Alexander
Henry, too. Sean Alexander. So you got Henry now, who kind of like a strong run. You don't have a lot. I would not spend 18 million on him based off we had Walter Payton, and Walter Payton was not the reason we won the Super Bowl.
You're right.
And the greatest running backs in the game, other than Emmitt Smith, and Franco, but Franco, that was a running era, and you had receivers at the same time. You don't see a lot of top running backs when you look at them. That was the reason that team won the Super Bowl.
You want to hear something ironic, man? When Saquon Barkley tore his ACL, who tackled him?
Who was that?
Eddie Jackson.
Wow.
I was just reading that, man. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a Hollywood movie.
And that was non-physical Eddie Jackson, not even the dude that's out there now. Eddie Jackson's becoming a old school physical safety all of a sudden.
Psychopath. You know what? That was just an interesting comment, man. That I just saw for Brother Talib. He said it's not going to happen. They can franchise tag him for the next 2 years. That's the worst case scenario. I really don't probably see the Giants even letting him get away either. But then too, with an ACL as a running back, But I just got excited, man, because I'm sitting up here thinking, I'm like, what are we going to do? Are we going to give Montgomery some money and keep him here, or are we going to trade one of the guys off? I mean, me personally, I'd love to keep them both, man. If we can get a deal for them. But after what Montgomery has done, regardless of the injuries, when he's in, he's done his thing. When we've had a credible offense, but he's gonna ask for some loot, and you're gonna kind of ask yourself, yeah, you nice, but I don't know. Hope he don't break us though.
Yeah, you know what? You mentioned Eddie Jackson, Plank. I don't have the stat in front of me, but I know I've mentioned this before. I know I sent to y'all the other day. I want to say Eddie Jackson actually leads the team
In
currently
tackles,
in tackles. I mean that's showing he's stepping up, but that also showing that the defense is allowing too many players to get to that level because your safety should not be the leading, especially since he's not playing down in the box. And then, this is the interesting thing. Right at the end of last year, Eddie had mentioned he wanted to. I want to say he said he wanted to play more closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So maybe this is part of him showing that he could do it, because I remember laughing at that. I thought it was hilarious that he said that, but he actually has. Who's that? We have a comment right here that says, "What's that say?"
Dig Payton up, and he still run harder than the backs we have.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cold. True. That's cold, but it's true. Hey, man, I'm looking at some. Yeah, Eddie Jackson does lead the team in tackles. He has 57. Briscoe's second with 53rd, and the guy we used to know, the artist formerly known as a Bears player, Roquan Smith, had 52. But here's something else interesting. Who leads the team in sacks?
Right now, we have 3 sacks. That's got to be Brisker.
Yeah.
And behind him is Sanborn.
Yeah. And interceptions, Eddie's got 4. Roquan had 2. Briscoe's got 1. Yeah, but you know what? It's interesting, man.
So what you just said, guy, is the Bears' 2 safeties are the 2 leading tacklers on the team.
Yeah.
And I think Kyler Gordon is up there too. So
I think Kyler Gordon may be 4th. And I think Morrow may be 3rd.
3rd, I think he is.
And I think Gordon is 4th.
I think Sanborn is 5th or 6th, despite only having 3 games. So, if your safeties are leading you in tackles, that is not a good stat, guys.
It's not good at all. It is, and wow. That's amazing, though, man. That is amazing. I mean, and it's a lot of stuff that you see but don't see. And then when you have the chance to look at numbers, and that's one of them. Like, for example, Briscoe, 3 sacks. He's your safety.
Yeah, you know what? And that comment that Talib had, I saw that he said ACLs aren't what they used to be. I agree, Talib. There's a lot better science to help those things heal. However, he's already had 1 torn ACL. That's kind of my point. So the more wear and tear that running backs get, he ends up at some point turning into Ezekiel Elliott. That's just wear and tear. You don't see these guys get better and stronger as they continue to take all of that wear and tear.
See, and the truth with Ezekiel Elliott is the reason why he's the way he is because he can't stop eating.
Well, he's been saying, feed me, though, man.
Yeah, but you just don't get in the huddle. They be like, okay, we're going to do a black 59 raise on 2. Okay. And he pull out a dog on hoagie.
I like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook tonight. Hey, Brother Talib said Monty was signed for much less than he would have before Herbert broke out.
I agree.
That's true. He'd be a bargain. $8 million. I agree, man.
Absolutely.
I completely agree with that. 1,000,000,000,000%. That $8 million, yeah.
Because
think about Monty is he's a football player.
Yeah. So I think Khalil Herbert even rushed for more yards for less carries.
Yeah.
Right. But like we were talking about before, my opinion, Montgomery's the better running back, but Herbert's the better running back for this offense that they're running right now.
Well, Montgomery's better at blocking. He's a better receiver. Yeah. I think Herbert has better vision, and he's probably faster. Because he gets to those holes pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think, and I guess those are the complicated things about running backs, right? Because you have different dynamics you can measure a running back on. And I always said, for example, I use Barry Sanders, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I might have said he was the best pure runner, right? As far as give him the ball and see what he could do, right? And then you
elusive
like Peyton, who to me was the GOAT, right? The way he ran, or either him or Jim Brown, right?
But they were similar
forward,
too.
Did
they were
thing.
similar.
Yeah, it's kind of similar style, but you got different things. I think Khalil Herbert, like Plank said, has much better vision.
Yeah.
And he actually, I think he has faster football speed. I don't know what their 40-yard dash is, but his football speed is definitely better. And I think this is why he get through holes faster, because sometimes it seems like as much as Demo can run guys over or out the contact, he seems to hesitate at times, and he's chopping his feet in the same spot, and you're like, okay, get through that hole, then he's looking for contact, which is probably, I'm saying he's looking for contact. I don't know what he's looking for, but
well, Bernard, in context though, Jim Brown actually in 9 years he led the NFL in rushing 8 of those years.
5.2
in a time when running played a much larger role within the game. So we didn't really get a chance to see him play, but just reading on the stuff that he's done, man.
Come out of retirement, Plank.
Hey, all right.
But you know what though?
That's Leo. I think that's Leotis who said
that. Real quick though, a good way to analyze is look at type of backs like your Dorsets and your Eric Dickersons. They were fast and they were more elusive backs. When you had like Brown and Peyton, they were more physical backs who could carry. Because I mean, look at Montgomery though. He's out of Iowa State, right?
Yeah.
He's out of Iowa State. He led the nation in yards after carry, because even now you look at him, he hit the hole and you see him stopped, and all of a sudden you see the line moving. And they were talking about something on one of the Sunday games that this dude is squatting like 600 pounds. Yeah, that's like that's a Tevin Jenkins. That's a Tevin Jenkins and let's see, Tevin Jenkins and whoever else was another 200 pounds on his back running. That's a bad man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I see in this game that's coming up, do y'all think the Jets are not starting their quarterback strictly because of a measure to discipline him? Or do you think also it's a little wink, wink, it's the Bears, so we could get away with it?
I think that quarterback sucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think he's exposed that he had this, small college, playing and his history playing in Utah, never played in a big program on big days against big teams. So I think at this point he's been exposed, and a lot of these so-called experts have also been exposed that he should have never even been in a conversation ahead of Justin Fields to begin with.
Ding, 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 ding. You know what it is? It's just like we talked offline. Winning takes care of everything, and it moves an optic to the cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? When you win, you don't care. Oh, yeah, hey, you looking good. And as soon as they start losing, the microscopes come out, because I'm looking at his number. I'm looking at Zach's numbers, man. Zach's like 105 or 189. He's got 1,279 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So when we look at the metric, I mean, I know we kind of like look at numbers on both sides. We don't take it as truth, but that's some truth. They just been good.
I mean, touchdowns got
4 and 5 picks. So
is that for the whole year?
Yeah, and they're winning. And it's like when you win, it's like nobody pays attention to it. All they can think about is the W's. But as soon as they start losing, let me get out the pad. People don't block it. Holy smokes, Zach Wilson. And then you get some fools that get out here like me that want to go study this stuff. I'm like, this dude sucked all year,
Right. But they're supposedly they're not benching him because of performance.
The last game he played, the team got 3 points behind him. And then they asked him, do you feel bad about letting the defense down? And he was like, no. I got 3 points. What y'all talking about?
So it's supposedly that comment of why
it did not help.
Supposedly, but I think it doesn't make a difference in any way, because the Jets have been just as awful at picking quarterbacks as us, and actually they've been picked a lot of quarterbacks. I think they've had 4 quarterbacks in the last 7 years or 10 years as far as quarterbacks they have drafted.
It's only two quarterbacks I can ever remember the Jets having that were good, but they didn't play as much as they got hurt. There was Richard Todd and Chad Pennington. They're the only two quarterbacks that I can remember the Jets having. Joe Namath wasn't all that great, man. Joe Namath was more gimmicky. He was more lucky.
He was washed up by the time he got to the
Chad
league.
Pennington was doing his thing, but Chad Pennington kept getting injured. And, Richard Todd was nice too. But I look at their numbers, man. I'm looking at their numbers, and it's like, okay, what's up with that? You talk about luck? You know what I'm saying, man? These dudes, man, look at this. They average under 20 points a game. But they only give up 18 and 19.
See, I guess it's almost like with the NBA with 3-point shooting, right?
Yeah.
And when you look at the change of the rules, see, we almost sometimes we got to take into account all the things that change, right?
Yep.
Okay, not only because it was a running league, but also quarterbacks could not really do intentional grounding. I mean, a lot of that stuff that they said you out of the pocket throwing, as long as you get back to the line of scrimmage, you could throw it away. You couldn't do that then. Quarterbacks
you had to get hit in the mouth.
Right. That ball had to be somewhere near somebody. So you end up, and you could get slammed after a play. You could actually jam up the receiver. I mean, the 5-yard thing came later on. So it was a whole lot more tougher to get points.
Mr. Blunt.
They dominated them. They probably dominated them so much defensively. Why teams sometimes had, when you get a team like the blowout with the Bears, when they blew out the Patriots in Super Bowl, some of those games were defensive domination that led to so many points by the defense and the offense. Other than that, you had a lot of games in that era that was 14 points.
7-0.
One team
7-3. But you also didn't have as much passing, and I think a lot of old school quarterbacks don't get the credit that they deserve as much, because what they do, look at the numbers. He had no numbers. He sucked. It's like, but it was a running league. And dudes were, if you actually saw the games, like, which I get to this whole numbers thing, it's like, okay, you use your numbers all you want to. My numbers are watching the game. It's not about your numbers, it's when you get them numbers. So, but Mr. Blunt, as you was talking about, I told you the story about Deion Sanders, talking about Mel Blunt. He got inducted to the Hall of Fame, and Mel Blunt was out there. He said, I walked over to him and said, hey, how you doing, Mr. Blunt? He said he looked at that dude, and it was like, you was a cornerback? He's like 6'3", 220. In the 70s as a quarterback. They basically made that rule that the 5 yards, Dan Fouts was a stud. But they made that rule basically for him, because you had to, after 5 yards, you couldn't touch a receiver. You imagine Mel Blunt sticking a receiver, and he looked like the dude that he's sticking looked like his 3rd grade kid, and you going out trying to run a slant route, and as soon as you slant, it's like, pow!
He would have saw them, man. It was ridiculous. They couldn't get off the line.
They could.
You know who else was, and it was before our time as far as watching football, who was a huge man, Mel Blunt's size? The Hammer.
Yeah, Fred Williamson.
Fred Williamson.
Yeah.
Fred Williamson.
Lester Hayes wasn't no small guy either.
No, he was like 6'2", I think it was. He
was about 230.
Yeah, because I think the Hammer played at, I think he's 6'2", 6'3". He played at about 235.
Wow,
man. And he was playing defensive back.
Yeah. Could you imagine as a receiver?
One time in the 90s when he was still, probably in his late 40s or whatever, early 50s. Man, I saw him, and when he went to shake my hand, I was like, whoa.
You couldn't find him. Well, where's my hand?
Right. I recognized him at first just because I was just like, man, who is this huge guy, right? He was still buff and everything. It wasn't like he was huge, like overweight. He was huge.
He's just big boned and big dude. He was just a naturally big dude. If he was even walking around lean, he would look big. It give you guys a dynamic about how things have changed. We got a Hall of Fame linebacker, Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert was a straight up nasty dog. Dude walked around 6'4", 212. Wow. Your middle linebacker. So you imagine that. Now, just put this in your head. Your Hall of Fame middle linebacker, who was crazy and was rough and was tough as they come, was smaller than your cornerback. That's why they call him the steel curtain. You threw a ball out there, and then you had old Psycho Donnie Shell in the background. He was like, man, is it wearing a dress? Check the ID. That's your mama? Oh, it is your mama? What you doing on the field? Boom.
2 for 2.
Oh, it's time for 2 for 2.
Oh, let's see what we got here.
Hey, 2 for 2.
Let's see.
Hey, who have a top 2 and a bottom 2?
The top 2 games? I still got
that. Teams.
Oh,
top 2 teams, bottom 2 teams.
Well, top team I'm taking is the Eagles. They playing against the Packers. That's going to be a good game as well. The second top team that I got is still going to be Kansas City. I don't see nobody else really going head-to-head with them and showing them up. And what you got Mahomes doing to Kelsey, that's special enough for Kelsey to actually be in the discussion about MVP instead of a quarterback. So that should let you know how historical that is.
The John Theory pass?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah, sorry to hear that. Rest in peace, brother.
My 2 for 2 with Kansas City and Philadelphia as well, too. Those are my top ends. My bottom ends, I'm going to have to go with Houston and I want to say their name again so bad, but as bad as they are, okay, I'll say Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I want to say Green Bay so bad.
Hey, my 2 for 2, my top 2 is the same as both of y'all, KC and Eagles. My bottom 2 is Texans and Denver.
Yeah,
that's a good call, man.
I'm going the Panthers in there and the Broncos too.
So. Hey, you know what? Yeah, but you know what we did. But see, here's the deal with Denver. Your boy is what happens when you spend your whole loot on one dude, and then he get behind the center. You realize it's like, Dorothy, we ain't in Kansas no more. like I was saying the other day, when they go up there, every time he watched them games, he be sitting in the corner window crying, looking at Gino like, Gino. Because he just don't know. You don't know. And I mean, I understand business moving, all that stuff, but man, that's what happens when a lot of times when you, I'm not saying just call him out like that, but you know, he had his little situation and whatever and moved on. I bet you wish he'd have probably got paid less and still would have been with Seattle instead of getting his clock clean.
Probably not. I think on payday he feels pretty good about that whole situation.
Yeah, but if he can't see, he don't know how to write the checks. Oh, that's right. They got Zelle. So he all right. Yeah, you got a point there, brother.
Hey, what about y'all game of the week? My game of the week this week is not a lot of good games to me, looking at some of the matchups that I want to see, but I was intrigued by the Bengals and Titans game. The Titans, I believe, are 7-4, and the Bengals, I believe Bengals may be 6-4, and the Titans are 7-4. I think those two teams are only at 10 games at this point. They might have both had byes, but the Bengals look like they're starting to finally get it together because they really got off to a real slow start, and the Titans kind of got off to a slow start initially, but it looked like they're getting together. So that's the game of the week that I'm interested in. Y'all got any games of the week?
Yeah, my game of the week is my second favorite team is the Eagles playing against the Packers. The only reason it's my second favorite team is because any team that's playing the Packers is automatically my second favorite team. So I'm looking for them putting foot to butt on Aaron Rodgers, and I just hope they leave enough for him so we can go ahead and beat them down the week after that. So I'm looking forward to. I mean, that's almost the last thing I feel like I got to look forward to for this year, playing the Packers and actually, hitting Aaron Rodgers in the mouth. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we got to have a chance. It seemed like, if nothing else, Aaron Rodgers is now resorting to excuses. Mm-hmm. Well, if I didn't have this broken thumb, I'm like, you shouldn't be playing. Either you playing or you're not. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Your thumb should be broke from something else that you do, but this is a family show.
All the crack he's smoking, no, that ain't crack. That's some other stuff he's smoking. But
hey, guys, you have a game of the week, guy.
See, he stole my thunder because I saw the Packers in there. I'm like, anybody against the Packers, but you know what? I want to see the Raiders and Seahawks, because what I want to do is I want to see if the Seahawks can go ahead and get through this, because I mean, with the Raiders, and I want to see if the Raiders can actually, like, after what they went through last week, kind of bounce back and say, hey, Let's just play stones to the wall and just go out and try to take a dub. I think it's going to be a really entertaining game, man. I hope so.
Okay. Yeah, so the Bears faced the Jets this weekend, and believe it or not, the Bears defense is still ranked 16. So they still middle of the road. This is one of those things where you the stats may say something different than what you actually seeing. Because I know if you went by points, I think there's only about 5 or 6 teams that give up more points than the Bears at this point. But if you look at the actual ranking, the Bears defense is ranked about 16. They give up about 24.9 points. The Jets defense is a top 10 defense. They rank 9th overall, giving up 18.6 points a game. Right. That's pretty good, 18.6. The Jets offense, like the guy said, the only quarterback only thrown for 4 touchdowns. Their offense is ranked 29th, and they only average 19.9 points a game. And Chicago Bears offense is actually still moving up. The Chicago Bears offense is 23rd, and they average 21.9 points a game. That is very nice. This was a offense that the first couple of games of the season, they was actually ranked dead last.
Right.
To actually seeing an offense that's actually on a rise, and the defense actually is kind of where they was at the beginning of the season. They started somewhere right there around 15. Then they started moving up. I think they got as high as maybe 11 or 12. And now they down to 16. What you have, Plank?
Yeah, I think what's happening now is we've got a lot of recency bias that's going against the defense. A lot of people always look at us as Chicago, monsters of the Midway, and all of that. And from a historical standpoint, they just expect us to be defensive juggernauts. And the truth is that, the NFL has changed how defense is rated and how it's played. So ultimately, you're looking at a defense. If you hold a team at under 25 points, you got a chance to win. As bad as that is, that's the state we playing against. So we need to actually start evaluating the defense against those metrics, against today's game's metrics, versus saying, at the end of every game, it's almost like we say, oh, man, the defense let us down. And I say, wow, did they? In some cases, clearly when they gave up that 49 burger against Dallas, they let everybody down. But our defense isn't as bad, only because we had those safeties in there doing pretty well. Jack Sanborn's doing decent. But our defensive line is so terrible. I don't have a whole lot of faith in anything that we're going to be able to do as far as stopping somebody.
See, ask yourself a question. Where we rank? Alabama State University. I was at ASU when Eddie Robinson was there. Oh, my man.
Okay.
Ask yourself a question. We're ranked what now in the league defensively?
16.
That's like right.
We're now think of this for people that are pundits and that want to talk about the defense. And mind you, we put pieces together this year. They're 16th, and we have no pass rush. Think about that. I mean, I think, like he said, he's 1,000,000,000% true. Offenses have been engineered in the last 20 years to score at will. And people think it's just so easy. Oh, we got this corner, we got this safety, we've got the linebacker. Oh, they're going to do this and that. You know how hard it is to really stop an offense? When you look up and you see a stagnant offense, you look at it and sometimes things are what they are, but it's really hard. And now as I'm looking at the Bears, it would have been perfect if Justin Fields could play. I hope he doesn't play, but they're giving up like 16 more pass yards, but they're only averaging like 109 on the ground. So it's difficult, man. I think that a lot of times people have to understand, we've always been known for defense and all that stuff. But if you have a problem with our defense, go look at some teams that are a little bit better than us to have better records and look at their defense and ask them about how our defense is then.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry about that, but I still point back to that game against Washington when we lost 12 to 17.
12 to 17, yeah.
and we were all like, "Oh man, defense let us down." I was like, "Wow, that's almost a shutout in the NFL today,
Yeah.
giving up 12 points." So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Bernard.
Awesome.
What you got?
Yeah. So this, I'm explaining this about my perception of defense, and I don't want nobody to take this like I'm apologist for the defense, because our defense is not that good this year. It's kind of bad,
Right.
but they still middle of the road when you look at it. To me, when you look at a defense, you have to first start out with what is the league average of points that offenses score. That's where you start at. So if the average, say in any given year, let's say in this year, let's say it's 18 points. Okay. 18 points to me is the starting point. So if a defense gives up 18 points, they're not bad. They're at the league average at that point. It's up to your offense now at that point to outscore that team. They could win 20-18. That's all they have to do. So you don't even have, sometimes even with the offense, sometimes people overstate that part and say that you only have to outscore what your team give up. That's all you have to do. Now, when you look at what the Bears run, they run a cover 2 defense. It's known for giving you yards, bend and don't break.
Bend but don't break. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. Now, what you have to be concerned about in the defense is not only scoring, but what is the third down? You know, a team converting a lot on third down, stuff like that, right? Those become important factors, right? And if the team is not, then you of course scoring, etc. But when you get down to it, let's take last week game. That's why sometimes when Plank asks that question, I know sometimes we chuckle or people chuckle. It's really a valid point. So if you take last week game, what was that score? 27-24.
27-24.
Yeah.
27-24. If you look at that game and take away the special team score, they have 20 points. So this is why when you look at sometimes the box score and you say the defense should be ranked lower, you got to remember that is not a score against the defense.
Right.
That's not so. Even though the box score at the end of the game said 27, actually the scores at the defense actually, like I said, we may chuckle about it, think he's apologizing, but in reality, that's why the calculation of the team did not drop much, because they gave up 20, which I think the league average this year could be somewhere between 18 and 20. So actually, the offense scored enough to actually beat the team. The offense had 24 points. That's why you can't have turnovers, right? Turnovers and special team score is what tilt the game the other way around. So that's one of the calculations I see sometimes when you look at offense, and a lot of times we just look at the box scores and
or the numbers and they don't match up.
Right. Yeah, but they don't match up with where the team is, the defense or the offense, whatever is ranked.
Here's another thing. I'm sorry, bro. I'm
sorry. That was it. Yeah.
Here's the other thing you got to figure into the equation. What if it's a 1st and 10 or a 2nd and 5 on the 20, and the defense scores, forces a fumble and recovers the ball and the offense scores? They have so many different things that happen. I mean, people look at numbers, and like I say, I don't look at numbers. We look at what we see. Like I say, what if your defense gets a turnover? What if they get a pick 6? We talk about the offense all they want to, but then the final score is depicted by how many points they score. But the defense has 2 jobs. They have a job of stopping the offense they're going against and trying to take the ball away and score. So I'd rather look at games, because I've seen games where teams have actually played pretty doggone good defensively, and then you look at the conditions, you look at certain circumstances, and they give up about 27, 28 points. You look at them, it's like it really wasn't that bad, but that's just me.
Hey, so one of the most important questions tonight, I know the most important question to me is Justin Fields going to play?
No.
I hope not. But, if he's good enough to get out there and be able to defend himself, and he can still run and what have you, then you got to throw somebody out there. As much as we love the Bears, the idea of the Bears having an actual quarterback that can help us win games, he's a professional. If the game is being played, he needs to actually probably go out there if he's able to go ahead and play. And I don't know how successful he'll be. But we'll see. We've seen a couple NFL players gut it out and play games that we didn't expect. If you had known, the injuries they had, that there was no way they should be playing. So I'm
Right.
hoping it doesn't come to that. I'd like to see him kind of sit out at least this one game
Yep.
and maybe come back strong for the Green Bay game.
I
Okay,
completely
so
agree with you.
you'd like to see him sit out, but you think he might end up playing.
Yeah, I don't like the chatter that I'm hearing. So it's sounding like they're leaning towards making it his decision. And if it's left up to him, he's like, come on. Hey, you don't want to put me at quarterback. Trust me. That's going to be a clash and collision every play. I'm probably not going to get no yards.
Oh, I'm going to get some yards.
Some people out.
I'm going to get some yards because when you snap the ball to me, I'm just going to run. I ain't going to even stand back in the pocket. And I'm running straight to the sideline. If you come near me, I'm throwing it out of bounds. But,
hey, guy, what do you think? What do you think going to happen? Or what do you think is going to happen and what you want to happen?
What I want him to sit. Because think about it. I mean, his shoulder's somewhat separated. There's a little cartilage issue in there because of it. It's not a complete like this. It's not a dislocation. It's a separation. What people also don't understand is he's right-handed. His left hand actually helps with the accuracy too, with the balance, because he throws and it's that motion. He said he's been having a little trouble throwing. That's going to mess with his accuracy. What if Fatburger falls on him? He's the most sacked quarterback in the league. And yeah, he could go through 4 quarters up until, and we could be tied at like 20 with like 1 minute left and be great and have one play and take him out for the rest of the season. It can have lingering effects. I personally, right now, only thing we have to play for is pride right now and Green Bay. So if I'm the guy, and I from what I've seen with Poles and Eberflus and all those guys, I know what they need to do. Sometimes you just have to be, how do they say, how does that go? Sometimes you have to have somebody just to tell you no. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
if he doesn't, and another reason why I think he might not play is because we got Green Bay.
Okay.
Win, lose, or draw, we got to win them games.
Yeah, I believe. Well, I'm gonna say what I think. I think he should at least sit out a game. I don't actually think he should sit out the rest of the season. Unless it was something serious. He definitely, but sitting out a game or 2, whatever it may take, to sit out, because I do believe your when you throw on a ball, your shoulder does play a part in your mechanics. Even though it's not your throwing shoulder. Yeah. And most of the times, if you get sacked, unless it's a blind sack, you get sacked on that shoulder, because that's the shoulder that's facing the defenders.
Or when you drop it and you drop their shoulder.
Right. That's the side they hit you on. And I don't think that's worth the risk. But I will say this. I don't think he's starting this game because at this point, unless they're just playing a game, if your backup quarterback, I guess it's a Simeon, he should be getting reps. You cannot be going into you can't be going into this like we haven't decided. No, you should know who's starting right now. You may say something may be game time, just from the gamesmanship, right? But I don't think it matters too much about the Jets getting ready for Simeon, right? I mean, we preparing for Justice. We got prepared for Simeon. I mean, because there's less things to prepare for. He's been around the league about 9 years. You know what he could do. So,
ask his wheels. How's Justin's wheels? Was it a cramp? Did he have a pull? If it's a cramp and they kind of play, I could kind of see it. But if he had like a little hamstring pull or something like that, it'd be stupid to put him out there, man. Let him rest, man. Let him fix his thing, and he needs the reps, but at what cost?
Well, as Bears fans, though, we have our eyes on the future, and we absolutely want to have a quarterback and have him continue to develop. I mean, we've been starved for so many years, but at the end of the day, he's a professional football player that gets paid to play in the games. So as much as we want to sit our kids out and don't get out there, whatever, if you own the team, it's your responsibility to kind of show up for the rest of the team and play if you can. I mean, he's not the only player on the Bears or in the NFL that plays hurt.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something, too. And I know it's a completely different sport, but I remember when Scott Williams used to play for North Carolina, came to the Bulls, the one thing that he had this thing with his shoulder. His shoulder kept, by the way, Terry died in 2017. Oh, okay. You must be watching Facebook. But Because somebody said something on Facebook. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, dude died in 2001. It's like, oh. But anyway, Scott Williams' shoulder kept popping out.
Yep.
And they went and gave him the surgery and he was fine, stuff like that. The only thing I wanted, like a lot of people looking at say, oh yeah, and I get it, he's a football player and stuff, and it's not his throwing arm, but just like I was saying with the motion, your hand is up like this, and I don't care what type of threshold of pain you got, when you come down like this and you feel that pain, sometimes you may blink, you're off. But who am I to say, man? I'm just a pundit. That's all.
Yeah, okay. Main thing I'm worried about right now is the refs, because for whatever reason, after we kind of filed a couple of plays to the league office against the refs a couple games ago with the Claypool interference, the refs have been doing some absolutely horrible calls against us, and I've been looking at them and reviewing them. It doesn't make any sense. So, all right. So I just want to mention
you're
that.
right. Hey, you're right about that. But you know what? But they caught their hand in the cookie jar because the 2 plays they sent were blatantly wrong. So now it's like the refs like, oh, so yeah, we messed up. You gonna do that? Okay, I got you. You're gonna miss a couple holding calls and pass interferences. And I've even seen games after that where guys are pulling jerseys and doing stuff and they don't say nothing. But
okay, the number of hits that Justin Fields is taking when he's sliding and going out of bounds is ridiculous. So they're not calling that either.
Zing one at the refs and hit him in his head.
Hey, let me go to a break, then we come back with our predictions. Hey, welcome back to Bears Banter.
Yeah,
Bears Let's about go to Costa Rica. See the sun glistening over my chocolate body. Come on.
Yeah, that Costa Rica trip is gonna be real nice. It's July 20 to 24th, 5 days, 4 nights, 100+ people going. I mean, we done had a couple more people paid this week. We know we're gonna have a big surge after everybody get through those Christmas presents. I mean, it may easily be 150, 200 people on that trip, so you don't want to miss that trip. But hey, as far as the Jets are starting Mike White, who's their backup quarterback against the Bears. So it's possible we could actually see 2 backup quarterbacks starting in this game.
Yeah.
Which I just want to put that out there. That could affect the outcome of this game, because if it's not the starters, well, I don't know if what's his name? What's the quarterback name? Zach Wilson. I don't know if Zach Wilson started. If he only threw for 4 touchdowns, would that even matter? But
and that's a sad thing, because the guys are sitting on. He works, and this guy's sitting on the bench. You can imagine the quarterback like, man, he got 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and I'm on the bench. He said, like I said before, I ain't going nowhere with the cues. Because somebody gonna pull the sprinkler when Atomic Dog come on.
Hey.
Oh my God, there are guys in purple and gold. They're dancing around to this funny electronic music. I don't know. It's doing something to them.
Yeah, that's all right.
Hey, so what do the Bears need to do to win this game? I think the Bears have to just, I mean, I know we haven't seen a victory in a while, but offensively, the Bears are doing enough other than down the stretch. The Bears are doing enough to win these games. So as much as some people may look at the passing stats and whatever different things they may say, it don't matter. When you get to me, it doesn't matter. When you are getting over 24 points a game consistently, and then not from defensive turnovers. These are all offensive points. It doesn't matter what those stat columns say, how you got it. Your offense got it. So that's all that matter. Your offense got it. So offensively, the Bears offense is doing enough to win games, other than they just haven't been able to put together last drives. Defensively, they just got to be able to stop the run and put pressure on the quarterback. Now, I am concerned that on the injury report, Brisker and Kyler Gordon are both out for concussions. So I'm not sure how you're going to look. But then again, And the reason I mention that because these are your second leading tackler and I believe fourth leading tackler on the team. So that does not help not only the pass game, but it doesn't help the run game. But you got to hope that these guys step up some in the front seven, so runs are not getting back there. But if they do that, play good special teams, they should be able to get a victory. What you got, guy? What the Bears need to do?
Control the clock. You got another quarterback in there. Yeah, he's been in for 9 years, and he is serviceable. We still got that running game. What's his name? Is it Spice? What's his name? Is their safety? Is this what's his name? Who's the rookie? Who's the guy that they got? The Jets.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Sauce. Is it Sauce Gardner? Is he?
He's a corner.
He's a corner.
Yeah.
You know they're gonna put him on Mooney, right? They're gonna put him on Mooney. You know what? The Bears really need to control the clock. Just basically do what you've been doing. Run the ball. Just be consistent. Don't get turnovers. But most importantly, don't get these stupid doggone penalties, man. It's not like rocket science. Because here's a team that's they by all intents and purposes, they got the 9th ranked defense. But if you control the clock, you keep the ball out their hands. And if we're scoring 21 points a game, even with Justin Fields, I still think that we got a good chance of getting us a W up there.
Okay. Yeah. Now, got it. I believe the Jets really get after the quarterback defensively.
They do.
Do they? Okay. Yeah, they can get after the quarterback. Frank, what you have?
Yeah, so my keys to the game is, first of all, we've got to this is going to be a big test for Getsy and what he puts out there as an offense. A lot of the offense have been heavily dependent on Justin Fields' athletic ability, the ability to run RPOs, as well as his arm. And now we're going to have to see what Getsy can do to translate into a professional offense without him. Also, Getsy hasn't done a really good job of incorporating Chase Claypool into a game. I think he's a huge difference maker if he gets in the game and he's put in position that he can actually win. That way that we don't have to count on Mooney to be the number one receiver, and we can have a lot more flexibility. Also, good thing about it is we've got DeAndre Carson Houston as second string safety. He's a good player, and I think with him in the game, he's not gonna make us feel the loss of Brisker as much. Brisker's a much better player, but he's a good player as well, and he always seems to come in games and patch things up for us. But to your point, Bernard, we cannot stop the run, and we get no kind of pass rush. I think that's going to be the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be the difference in the game. So, hey, we almost getting ready for our predictions. Let me show this here. We don't know, none of us got no bragging rights. This shit really.
Except for Mo and Jay.
Yeah.
They under 500. How you gonna have bragging rights?
right.
They just better than us.
Yeah, they are.
Right, great on the curve. But anyway, Jay and Mo are both 5 and 6. Quick and Christian are both 4 and 7. Me, Plank, and Tammy are all 3 and 8. Did I get all that right? Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. So it's been a rough season. Anybody ready for their predictions yet?
You know I'm ready, bro.
Okay, what you got, Plank?
Do nothing, Bears.
You know, I've already talked about my concerns. I got the Jets 20, the Bears 17.
Okay.
So I'm going against the Bears this week.
Jets 20, the Bears 17.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready with mine. I have the Jets. I think it's going to be a field goal game. I had the Jets at 18. I had the Bears at 15.
Okay.
What you have,
field
guy?
Goals. Okay.
83-19 Jets. No, I'm just joking. See, man, I wanna say 17-14 Jets.
17-14 Jets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I want to pick the Bears so bad. Guess what? What's going to probably happen is at the beginning of the game, they're going to be dun, 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 they're going to show everybody at the end. And here's Justin Fields. He's out. Because I will say this. I will make this disclaimer. If Justin Fields play, we win.
Okay.
But I didn't pick him to win, so 14.
Yeah, that's why I got them at scoring only 15. I don't believe Justin Fields is going to play, and I think the reality of how much this offensive line struggles is going to be apparent, and I just think it's just going to be one of those games of kicking field goals. But I believe the weather is supposed to be bad as well. I believe it's supposed to be. I think raining. I'm not sure. I know Buffalo got hit with a lot of snow about a week ago, but because they're playing in New York, right? Yeah, I think they're playing in New York.
And he's almost, to be quite frank with you, man, and I think a lot of people don't even look at this. Justin Fields is probably 50% of our offense because he's throwing and he's passing. I mean, you take that out. Simeon doing an RPO?
No.
Simeon's serviceable. He's not a terrible backup quarterback.
No, he's gonna get rid of it. He's gonna get rid of it quick though. But but the thing is, Justin, if we even look at some of the films of Justin when he's finally coming to his own, you look at it, there's nothing there, there's nothing there. I'm gone. 5 yards, 15 yards, 60 yards. I don't see Simeon doing that. I will see him maybe running for about 6 or 7 yards here and there. But because Justin is so much of their offense, that's a huge loss without him being there, especially now. So,
yeah, and that's without the Khalil Herbert as well. He's still out. That's taking nothing against Montgomery by saying
right.
He's out.
But we had two,
Yeah, but you had more people to share the ball.
Yeah, I don't want to see Ebner with the ball, man. That's a scary dude, man.
He's run like Ebenezer Scrooge.
I think that's Leotis. Leotis had the Bears winning 21-14. So
man.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I hope he is too. And you know what? We're gonna pop our collar for him too if he's right.
Yes, we will.
It's just been hard to come by some victories this year. It's just been a tough year as you watch the Bears play because, I mean, realistically, we know they don't have the talent, but other than maybe 2 games out of 11, almost all those games came down to a last possession or a possession before, and I want to say 90% of the games were probably lost by less than a touchdown.
They said, I think it's either 3, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like only 3 or maybe 4 games that we lost by more than a touchdown. So if you think about that, it's like a lot of that is, we don't have the time. He'll take a Cole Modelo. My brother, I'm in there with you, brother. Lime with lime and salt or without. But you know what? But he's but yeah, that's wow. That's all I can say about that, man.
Yeah, so let me recap and then we close out. I have the Jets winning 18-15. Plank has the Jets winning 20-17. Guy has the Jets winning 17-14. I don't have Jay and Tammy's score.
Well,
and
Mike,
also condolences out to Jay and his wife Keisha's family. Keisha lost her brother. I want to say a few days ago. Keisha is Jay's wife, so send condolences to their family for the loss of one of their loved ones in the last week or so.
Hey, for some of y'all pundits that's on the group page, I talked to my boy Bruce Hollywood Wilson, man. You know what? His daughter told him to call me, and I talked to him, and he's not out of the woods, but from when me and Bernard went to see him, as opposed to how I heard him on the phone. Completely different. He's on his way. Prayers up. Hope he come back up in the group semi-cussing in no time.
All right.
Yeah, keep praying for Bruce Hollywood Wilson to come on, make it through that, brother.
Yes.
We'll know him if he cuss somebody out. So there you go.
Right. Exactly. Hey, so thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. We'll see you on Sunday, 30 minutes after the game. Peace.